Probably the biggest block for many of my clients in terms of making a success of their business isn't actually business know-how or even having the time to implement, but it's their belief that they can actually do this and make a success of it. In this video, I'm going to look at 3 key ways that you can start to shift those beliefs and stop yourself from getting in your own way. I'm Rachel Roberts and I help ELT, ESL and language teaching freelancers optimize their business model, their marketing and their mindset so you can earn more and work less. Mindset coaching is not just about telling people to think positive or to get out of their comfort zone. In fact, it's a key part of my group program, and even people who started the program thinking that they perhaps didn't really need the mindset stuff often feel very different at the end of the program than they felt when they started. But it's all very well recognizing that a lack of self-belief can be holding you back. But what do you practically do to improve this? Firstly, and I do think that this is a big part of how I help people, it's very much about who you surround yourself with. In my group program and in my client-only Facebook group, there are so many people who are encouraging and supportive of others, willing to share both their inspiring wins and also their vulnerabilities and let people in to help them when things don't go so well. It's a delicate balance because you don't want to be in a group where everyone is constantly shouting about how brilliant they are, because that can make you start to question yourself more. Equally though, you don't want to be surrounded by people who are convinced there's no point in trying because nothing works anyway. I like to see this as a kind of realistic optimism. It is positive, but not in a kind of let's pretend nothing bad ever happens kind of way. Of course, things go wrong and don't work sometimes, but rather than pretending that doesn't happen, let's take it on the chin, and once we've recovered from the gut punch, see what we can learn from it. Good mindset is not about believing that nothing will ever go wrong for you. It's about trusting yourself to be able to deal with it well if and when it does. Secondly, you have to start seeing yourself as a business owner. This can be a difficult shift for some people in the education field, as you will often hear people talking about how educators shouldn't care about the money and should be solely focused on helping other people. Helping other people is great and it's a big part of what we're all here for, but you also deserve to be taken care of and looked after. If you want to stay in teaching long term, helping people, then you need to be earning enough money to sustain that. Teachers also often assume that they don't have any business skills and that these would be difficult to learn. Yes, there is stuff to learn, but you're good at learning new things, right? You're almost certainly someone who sees themselves as a lifelong learner. And actually, a lot of what you do as a teacher is not that different to what you would do as a business owner. It's about seeing the bigger picture and what needs to be achieved and then working out the best route to get there. And isn't that what you do with students all the time? And marketing is about helping people to spot the gap between where they are now and where they want to be and showing them the way. Also a form of teaching. So stop telling yourself that this stuff is beyond you or not a good fit for your skills. Thirdly, and again, this is a key part of what I teach, you need to look after yourself. If you're beside yourself with stress and lack of sleep, it's almost impossible not to let the inner troll, in other words, that little voice in your head that tells you that you're not quite good enough or that you don't have the skills to do this or that other people are better than you. It's very difficult not to let that little voice win because the seat of the inner troll is the amygdala, which is the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain. And this is automatically activated when we're under stress, making it very difficult to see the wood for the trees. So it isn't just healthier to take care of yourself, it's absolutely essential for a good business brain. Part of this is about developing good, healthy habits, like drinking water and getting up from your desk every so often. But it's also about healthy thinking habits. You can get better at recognizing when that troll voice is popping up and learning not to take it so seriously or to do what it's telling you to do. Not by trying to shut it up, that rarely works, but simply by noticing it and recognizing that you have a choice here as to whether you listen to it or not. In a nutshell, it's about recognizing that you shouldn't believe everything you think. A lot of our thoughts are simply not true. They're just kind of shortcuts that our brain has developed to try try to protect us from anything different or anything that might feel risky. And we can absolutely learn to reroute those thoughts. So for example, rather than seeing something going wrong as a failure and telling ourselves, oh, this always happens to me, we can reframe it as a learning opportunity. I heard Stephen Bartlett the other day say, failure is feedback. Feedback is knowledge, and knowledge is power. Rather than believing ourselves when we say that's not possible or I'm not good at that, we can question whether that's really true and say to ourselves, not necessarily, oh, I'm brilliant at this, which we're probably not going to believe either, but something like, well, how about if I just try this and see what happens? These are all small changes and adjustments, but over time they really do add up to massive change, and you'll look back and hardly recognize yourself. If you'd like my help with optimizing your mindset and your business model, your marketing and lead generation and selling skills, in other words, everything you need to make your business a success, check out my 6-month deep dive group program, Designed to Flourish, in the description below this video.